crimes and, all sorts of, the bad side of humanity. But we rarely hear, like, I'm a big fan of science fiction, and I kind of feel like science fiction writers and producers are really the engineers of society, right? Because they imagine the stuff, they put it on film or, in books or whatever, and then eventually technology catches up to be able to do the things that they imagine.
Well, we should probably, since you're such a big sci-fi fan, we should probably talk about our venture to Star Wars this week.
Yeah, I'll just give a quick synopsis of Star Wars, spoiler-free, of course, right? So here goes. There's a war in the stars. That's it. That's my spoiler-free review of Star Wars.
There really wasn't that much Stars Wars happening. It was all more like on a planet.
There was epic space battle.
Hovering over a planet.
There was epic space battle.
Was there?
Well,
I'm not remembering that.
Well, spaceships at least.
There were spaceships like in an atmosphere of a planet.
And I mean, on a scale I've not seen before in the Star Wars saga. So, it was pretty huge.
We can come back to it because it was not, while it was an entertaining film, it was not the best of the decade. It was certainly not the best decade for Star Wars films. I will say that.
No. I mean, I kind of get where, like, some of the hardcore nerds are, not satisfied with how the saga ended, kind of a thing. But
that was fine with me. I was fine with it.
I had no problems with it. I'm not that hardcore
what else were they
nerd,
supposed to do?
But yeah, I mean, I went specifically to see epic space battle, and I felt satisfied.
You got that. All right. So what is the best decade ever? That's what he said.
In human history.
In human history.
The best 10 years in human history.
All right.
So I think, and I've skimmed the article, so I don't actually know for a fact, but I'm of the opinion that most of this is going to revolve around technology and how fast tech has moved and how it's improved humanity.
I don't know about that. Let's find out.
But let's find out. Let nobody tell you that the second decade of the 21st century has been a bad time. We are living through the greatest improvement in human living standards in history. Extreme poverty has fallen below 10% of the world's population for the first time.
That we actually talked about, a few weeks back or a couple months ago on Free Talk Live, that globally people are coming out of poverty in a way that historically has never occurred. Tremendous, like hundreds of millions, if not billion plus people or whatever, have come out of the grips of poverty. And that's an incredible thing. Like that alone, if even if you left aside whatever the rest of the list is going to be, that quality of life improvement for human beings to be
around the globe. That's not just like, in industrialized nations. That's globally.
Yeah. I mean, even if there weren't other points to make, it's a strong argument to say that having fewer people in the throes of poverty around the world is the number one factor for why it was the best decade. So I'm glad they put that one first. Yeah. That's a good one.
The author goes on to say it was 60% when he was born.
Wow.
Yeah, global inequality has been plunging as Africa and Asia experience faster economic growth than Europe and North America.
Good for them.
Child mortality has fallen below record levels. Famine virtually went extinct. Malaria, polio, and heart disease are all in decline. Little of this made the news because good news is no news.
No, that's exactly true. And that's it's what drives talk radio. Generally, people don't talk. The news does not cover things that are good news. And if it bleeds, it leads, as they say. But like I said, it's nice when we get some good news. I like to share it. So I'm glad you brought this in. Well,
and this guy apparently wrote something else. He mentions, ever since I wrote The Rational Optimist in 2010, I've been faced with what about type questions. Like, what about the Great Recession, the Euro crisis, Syria, Ukraine, Donald Trump? How can I possibly say that things are getting better given all that? The answer is because bad things happen while the world still gets better.
Of course. It's an ugly, ugly process of getting from, eking out an existence in the dirt to where we are today with incredible technology and all the wonderful advancements that we've had. A lot of people had to die and suffer and ugly things had to occur in order for great things to end up coming along. I mean, the reality is that in the world we live in, we have dichotomies. We have contrast. We have, the ugly and the beautiful. We have the warm and the hot and the cold, and you have to have that contrast in order to really be able to appreciate things.
Yeah, that's true. You can't really appreciate something awesome unless you've experienced
crap,
the opposite of that. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So yet get better things do, and it has done so over the course of this decade at a rate that has astonished even starry-eyed me.
Wow.
Perhaps one of the least fashionable predictions I made 9 years ago was that the ecological footprint of humanity is probably shrinking, and we are getting more sustainable, not less, in the way we use the planet. That is to say, our population and economy would grow, but we'd learn how to reduce what we take from the planet, and so it has proved. And MIT scientist Andrew McAfee recently documented this in a book called More from Less, showing how some nations are beginning to use less stuff, less metal, less water, less land, not just in proportion to productivity, but less stuff overall.
Well, I mean, that's what the market, I think, is going to do, period. When left to its own devices, which, of course, the government gang will never leave the market alone,
right.
But when the market is relatively unencumbered by regulations and controls and protectionism and all this, it moves towards efficiency.
Yeah.
And, what he's saying there, more with less, is the definition of efficiency.
Right.
If you can take a gallon of oil and you can burn that oil for 1,000 hours instead of 100 hours, you have done an amazing thing, right? You've done an amazing level of improvement of efficiency.
Yeah.
And that means that the same amount of oil will go 10 times further or whatever, right? So that's what we're talking about here. People are more efficient.
And I'm a fan of the Native American philosophy of use the whole buffalo, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had this thing where they'd kill a buffalo and they had to be sure to use every part, right?
Yeah.
And to me that just makes sense, right? So if you're going to go dig a hole and extract stuff from the plant, well, make sure you use it all, and whatever you don't use, make sure it goes to something else that is useful.
Absolutely.
It just seems to be the right thing to do.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really wants to see waste. I mean, with the exception of people who are what the government does sometimes is they will lease out property. And so, as you know, or as many of you may know, the U.S. government gang has possession of, they would call it ownership, of the majority of the land that's west of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
So they lease out a lot of that land to companies that don't have an ownership right over that land, so they're less likely to really care for it. They're less likely to really, tend to it, to make sure that whatever they're doing there is sustainable. But as long as people have a stake in their property, they're more likely to take good care of it. They're more likely to use every bit of whatever the resource as efficiently as possible, because it just makes economic sense. There's more coming up here.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org. Acapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarists, thinkers, and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict. or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live Saturday edition of the show. You are invited to join us here on the radio. Our number is 855-450-FREE. We're talking about some good news, and there's more of it to get to, about the last decade. One author over at The Spectator, I think it was?
The Spectator, yeah.
Is saying that it was the best decade of all.
In all of human history.
And that's a pretty big claim. We're going to dig deeper into that coming up here. But also, I want you to know about Freedom's Phoenix. It's a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the latest and freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value liberty, then freedomsphoenix.com has them. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. It's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. It's Ian and Captain Kickass here in the studio. We'll continue on the list here in just a moment, but we're going to go to your phone calls and thoughts. Now, you don't have to talk about this news. You can bring up whatever
you want
is on your mind, and that's what Jerome is going to do in Charleston. Jerome, you're listening in Charleston, South Carolina, I should say, because we're on in West Virginia as well, in that Charleston. But, Jerome, you're listening to WTMA. Go ahead.
Yes, you're talking about the guy flying the Nazi flags on his property.
We mentioned it briefly, but we didn't get into detail. What about it?
Look, if it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. It's not a turkey. If you're flying Nazi flags on your damn property, you're a Nazi, okay?
Okay, well, you don't know what the story is because we didn't really talk about it. He actually isn't flying normal Nazi flags. He's flying protest flags. According to the story here, this is RexburgStandardJournal.com. There's a van parked in the driveway covered in paper with the words HOAs are Nazis. HOA stands for Homeowners Association. And don't buy...
That's a little extreme.
Huh?
That's a little bit of an extreme.
Is it, though?
Yeah.
Have you ever lived in a homeowners association?
No, I'm not rich enough to live in.
Okay. Well, then you really don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Well, I wanted to ask you about this other thing. Trump just continues to lie about this congressional hearing.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. Are you trying to tell me a politician is lying?
I know. We done been through this. I know. They all lie. Okay.
Yeah, they all are liars.
He continues to lie about this. He got up and did it again today.
I am shocked. Let me tell you.
I know.
Now, which liar should people replace him with?
I'm flabbergasted.
Which lying scum should be replacing Trump in 2020 or 2021?
Who's your favorite scumbag?
Look, I'm not going to even try and get into all of that about who's going to replace him, okay? All I know is that this guy doesn't want to testify. He doesn't want anyone to testify. How is that? I thought I lived in a democracy. I'm living in a darn dictatorship, man.
Oh, yeah. It's worse than that.
How is that possible?
Well,
and they think this is a democracy doing this?
No,
it's not your typical dictatorship. In this dictatorship, you get to vote for the next dictator.
Hey, I haven't seen anyone this phobic of a witness stand since the George Zimmerman trial, okay? And we all know what a lying... You're right. A lying scumbag George Zimmerman is, okay?
Now, that, for listeners that don't recall, that was the guy who killed Trayvon Martin, I believe it was.
An unarmed black teenager. Yeah. And then wouldn't take the witness stand, and tormented the guy. Now he's tormenting the kid's family. Okay, he's a scumbag. And Sean Hannity, that's one of the main reasons I despise Fox, because he gave this guy a forum to come on and tell some more lies. Sean Hannity, I can't stand him. Him and that Rush Limbaugh with the comment about black people are better off now. I mean, they're better off in slavery than they are today, which is a disgraceful thing. Yeah, he said that.
Who said that? Who said that?
Sean Hannity said black people are better off in slavery than they are today?
Sean Hannity defended George Zimmerman, and Rush Limbaugh said that black people are better off in slavery than they are today.
Oh, George Zimmerman said that.
That's a crazy thing to say. Hey, thanks for the call, Jerome. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Yeah, if you've never lived in a subdivision with a homeowners association, I don't think you can really, you don't really have much to say that I think is relevant to this particular case, because everything I've ever heard about these things is that they are full of what they call neighborhood Nazis. They are full of people who just want to have a little bit of power,
Mrs. Kravitz,
so they can wield that power over their neighbors and their neighbors' property. And it's the people who failed at becoming city council members who want to have some kind of control of something.
Yeah,
and it's sick.
I mean, I'd love to see like the free market version of homeowners associations rather than the what exists.
What do you mean by that? I mean,
so the homeowners associations that currently exist within the framework of statism. Right, so when something goes awry within the homeowners association, eventually the state gets called in. Right, they can call the police, they can sue you using the apparatus of the state, et cetera, and so on. So it's contained within that instead of having their issues solved in true arbitration.
But none of those things are going to
and all that kind of thing.
That's not going to make a big difference. Whether if the state were to go away tomorrow, the idea of the state, which is, of course, this justification that strangers should be able to rule your life or whatever and use violence upon peaceful people. The state's a sickness. It's an evil religion. It needs to go away.
Cancer.
But the problem is, at least one of the problems with the state, is it is power, and power attracts the corruptible and it attracts the already corrupted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the exact same thing that happens with neighborhood associations. It doesn't matter if you put an arbitration clause in the neighborhood association organizational documents or whatever. Well, you're still creating a governing body. It, by the way, to be fair, is a governing body to which 100% of the people, with the exception of the children, have consented.
Right, it's a voluntary... You enter into the agreement voluntarily.
Right, meaning that when you buy a home that is under this homeowners association, you're presented with that and whatever deed restrictions come along with it, and then you decide to either buy the home and enter into the agreement or not.
Right.
So at the very least, you can argue
but those agreements are legally binding as far as the rules of the state are concerned.
Well, agreements should be binding.
So the state ultimately enforces that. Rather than it being self-enforcing. And that's the difference that I'm looking for.
It's not self-enforcing. Whether it's the state or it's an arbitration group, your contracts should be binding, shouldn't they?
Absolutely.
You shouldn't be able to just walk away from something that you agreed to without conflict or without penalty.
Absolutely.
Okay, so then in the absence of the government courts, there would be some sort of market penalty for somebody breaking their agreement with a homeowners association.
Right, and that's what I'm saying I would like to see
But that won't solve the problems of the homeowners.
Stateless version.
I see what you're saying, but it's not going to create a better homeowners association.
You don't think so?
No, because you're still attracting power-sick people to that organization. People who want to decide how tall your grass needs to be, what color your house needs to be. Oh, you can't have a blue house. You need to have a house that's off-white or eggshell white.
Yeah, I've got a friend who had some troubles with the homeowners association because he painted the doorway to his house a different color gray than everybody else.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with the government having some sort of court system or whatever. That has to do with people who want to control you.
Yeah.
Having some little bit of power. They're a board member of the Homeowners Association. Ooh,
yeah,
well, for them, that's a big deal.
I guess what I'm saying is I'd like to see some version, maybe it's not even called a Homeowners Association, some version of, cooperative neighborhoods, folks who build, maybe they own condos together, something like that. I'd like to see a better way.
I don't know what that would look like. It seems to me that every time you get people into groups, you usually have people seeking to control it. 855. I've seen it with libertarians in libertarian organizations.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just a people problem.
Balance of nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
Your product is absolutely amazing. I can't tell you how my life has been changed so completely. I'm just at a loss to describe. I don't know how I could ever tell Dr. Howard and Susan, his dear wife, how much I deeply appreciate all the work they put into this magnificent product. I mean, there's so many things that have improved, and I'm only just beginning.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
twitch.tv.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. It is the live Saturday edition of the program. You're invited to join us right here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up in April 3rd through the 5th, and that'll be here sooner than you think. It's a unique Liberty convention called LibertyCon, happening in D.C. for people that want to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations for the purpose of career advancement or maybe business or internship opportunities. Plus, you'll be able to see some great speakers. John Mackey, the Whole Foods CEO and Libertarian co-founder, will speak on conscious capitalism. Vernon Smith, Nobel Prize winner in economics, will speak on alternative markets. Miriam Issa is a pop culture expert and political commentator. She's got over 300 million YouTube views. Nassim Nicholas Taleb, he spent 21 years as a risk taker, ultimately becoming a researcher in philosophical, mathematical, and practical problems with probability. There's a lot more to learn. Go to libertycon.com. You can get $10 off your registration, which I think if you do it before the end of the year, or maybe like January 3rd or something like that, you get the early bird rate. Knock $10 off with code FTL, and it's already a shockingly affordable ticket, like sub $80
Jeez,
for a
cheap.
ticket to a convention,
Yeah.
to a multi-day convention in D.C. And if you're a student, you get an even cheaper price. Get on over to libertycon.com. Plus, student travel scholarships are available. They definitely want young people showing up to this, and you can save early over at libertycon.com. Plus, discounted rooms are available for everyone at the Marriott Marquis. It's Ian and Captain Kickass in the studio here tonight. We've got this list of good things that has happened in the last decade. We're going to get back into that, but we got distracted by this homeowners association story about the guy with the Nazi flags that he's flying outside of his home in protest of the homeowners association there. We can talk more about that. But Mike, you've got a comment listening to KBKW in Aberdeen, Washington. Go ahead.
Hey, how are you guys doing? I just wondered if the captain had actually belonged to a road association or not. But have you?
What did you call it? A road association?
I'm sorry, homeowners association.
Okay.
Vicariously. So I rented a place. It was a condo that was in a homeowners association, but I was the tenant.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Right, you couldn't bring your boat there. I understand. Okay, so even out in Gold Bar, and I'm sure you've been there, they have homeowners associations. I said road owners because I bought a piece of property in '94, and it was basically a free community of people that raise their kids in school buses. This is on the Skycomas River on the way to the mountains, and just this beautiful place. And everybody kind of lived the way they wanted to. But then about the same time Starbucks got hot and heavy, some people started this was a homestead divided. So I had 2 acres. And even though there was like a road association is what they called it, because we all just took care of this really steep road because it was too steep for the county. And you could basically live any way you wanted there, because if your taxes were paid, and being that we lived on a county road, off of a county road, off of another road, so 2 private roads, in other words, the county couldn't really come unless there was a complaint, nor could the sheriff.
Nice.
Unless 911 was called. It was really nice. So when the sheriff came up the road, you could smoke a bowl and flip him off, and there wasn't anything to do because he wasn't looking for you.
My
so
2 favorite activities.
It all changed. Yeah, we joke around that way. But anyway, it all changed when the latte came out. And I wound up, they've pretty much rifted everybody out. But as soon as somebody built a, $500,000 house, 3 of them, they started an association. But the thing was, they never could ever really take you to court. I never gave them $1 because when I bought my property, it was at the end of a road, and I had to build out of my dump truck that I drove for a living. I had to build an 800-foot road to even get to my property at the tune of about $5,000 in the early 90s. And I refused to give them a dime because they never once ever came and graded that road or even that road going to the next road. They never did anything and wanted money.
So hold on, let me see how I'm following
so
the story
really
here. You're saying that in the past, there wasn't an organization. It was just people kind of living free and having their property and taking care of it and coming together when they needed to do something to the land that they all benefited from. But then these wealthy people came in and created a homeowners association, but they couldn't obligate you to join it.
That's right. Plus, we towed them out of the ditch on a regular basis because those four-wheel drive Lexus thingies don't really stop on steep hills in the snow. Like, we had a guy with an I-beam on the back of his pickup and 4 tractor seats welded to it so his kids could ride down the hill and put weight on the thing to grade the road.
Right.
But then they wanted to pave, and then they wanted to do that. And the thing is that they made life vicious, but they never really had a legal leg to stand on. And that was kind of the great thing because really people should have just taken care of their road frontage themselves, and that was it.
Yeah.
But it just never worked out that way. And the road is still a mess after however long it was from 94. And the road hasn't changed. And, you can't pave a steep road. So it was just kind of interesting how it kind of fell apart for them. But it is still, they still tried to do the same things that they would do right in a place in Seattle with Homeowners Association.
Right. Well, I'm glad to hear that they failed. Thank you, Mike, for sharing that story with us here. I appreciate it. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, because we were talking about, how homeowners associations tend to attract the neighborhood Nazis. Yeah. And that's what this guy in Caldwell, Pennsylvania, I believe, is protesting. Wait, Caldwell? No. Idaho. He's in Idaho.
An Ida pimp.
At least it's a photo from the Idaho Press. Caldwell's man's protest against his HOA, Homeowners Association's complaints, is drawing community attention. 2 Nazi flags have been hung out in front of the house in North Caldwell, and a van parked in the driveway, covered with paper with the words "HOAs are Nazis and don't buy CBH homes" painted across it. The neighborhood is being developed by CBH Homes, and the showroom model house is directly across the street from the protesting home. So everybody who comes to look at the showroom home gets to see this.
How appropriate.
On December 8th, a CBH Homes employee, Kelly Green, filed a complaint with Caldwell Police Department about the signs. Police report later reported that officers attempted to reach the resident at the home, named in the report as Stephen Smith. According to the report, Smith is, quote, at odds, unquote, with the subdivision's Homeowners Association because of fines, and believes that CBH has something to do with it. The Idaho Press visited the home Thursday in an attempt to speak with him, but no one answered the door. A statement from CBH, the home construction company, says, quote, "We do not support his views or behavior and have been in touch with the property management company who's working to rectify the situation. It's unfortunate that they're unwilling to follow the CCRS." I presume that's like the code of whatever.
I'm trying to remember what
Covenants
Code. I don't remember. It's an acronym.
It's the government rules, right? For it's their neighborhood rules.
Yeah. It's their bylaws or whatever.
We've called our homeowners in that community to apologize for his behavior and are hoping to have this resolved quickly. The man identifying himself as the resident going by the name Dave a man identifying himself as the resident and going by the name Dave called into the Nate Shellman show on local talk radio station KBOI on Thursday night. He told Shellman, quote, "Let me tell you what started this off. I kept getting notices for stupid things that I didn't do or that I thought they were exaggerating on from the Homeowners Association," unquote. He went on to say that at first he baited the HOA with what he described as an ugly couch. When he noticed that his neighbor, who had a trailer out in front of their home for several weeks, had yet to receive a letter from the HOA, he put the couch on the patio area in front of his house. Pretty immediately, he received 2 complaints from the HOA. That escalated to Nazi flags and the anti-CBH signs. He says, "I'm not a bad guy. I just did something I shouldn't have, according to some people's beliefs," unquote. The man said he'd warned CBH and the HOA that he was going to be putting up the signs if he received one more notice from them. He says, and they apparently didn't believe me. The flags aren't illegal. Which does make me wonder if the Homeowners Association has prohibitions on those things, and if they don't, I suspect they will soon. Caldwell City Clerk Debbie Geyer said there's nothing in city code that addresses hate speech. She says everybody has a right to fly flags. People fly Confederate flags out of their pickup trucks and things, but if that flag was tied to a criminal act, then that's a criminal issue.
Covenants, conditions, and restrictions, by the way.
Sounds
CCRs.
awful. Yeah. Sounds awful. I don't ever want to live in a place
Covenants, conditions, and restrictions.
Boardwalk Association Management is the Homeowners Association's name. BAM. B-A-M.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't I know a guy that had some sort of a fiasco with a couch?
Yeah,
outside?
That's right. That was me.
Interesting.
Actually, I didn't put the couch there. It was my tenants.
But it was your saga.
Yes, that's right. I went to jail over it. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. But that was just city code. This isn't a homeowners association neighborhood. There's more coming up here, and it was a dirty snitch who actually worked for the city who did that. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and it's the live Saturday edition of the show. You can bring up whatever you want here. We're talking about homeowners associations. Then coming up, we'll get back into the story that we started the show with, which was about this being the best decade ever.
In all of human history, apparently, according to the author, anyway.
We're going to talk about that some more because I think it's really important. Good news. Nice to talk about some good news. We'll get into that again. But I also want to say thank you to Bitcoin Photographer. That is the name that this person wanted to be referred to as. And he or she, and I believe it's a he because I think I've met this person at a convention, is a Free Talk Live Silver Amplifier. And that means that Bitcoin Photographer is contributing $5 per month, or he might be contributing Bitcoin. I don't know. You can do either one. You can do credit card, PayPal, or Bitcoin BTC to the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It is a simple idea, one that allows you to contribute to what we do here on Free Talk Live and help us get on more radio stations around the United States. We got over 200 great radio stations, AM and FM, that air this show at various different times throughout the week. We could have 300. We could have 400. It's possible, but we do need to advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. And that's what AMP stands for, and that's what you can help us do and get some cool perks like access to the AMP and supporters chat rooms on our Discord. We've got an AMP-only forum on or group on Facebook and more. You can get all the details, plus what we're spending the money on. There's a list of those things there over at amp.freetalklive.com. It's ampamp.freetalklive.com. Had a couple new signups this week, so thank you.
Nice.
Actually, one new signup, and somebody who was previously an AMP came back, so that's always nice when that happens.
And as I understand it, the AMP money goes only to help promote the show,
to
right?
advertise, market, and promote Free Talk
Just
Live.
in case folks are like, I know sometimes folks will tune into stuff and, folks will be asking for money kind of thing. But I just want to make it clear to our listeners that if you are an amplifier, that money specifically goes to the message to promote the show.
That's right. And we're going to go to your phone calls and thoughts. Alex is on the line listening in South Carolina to WRNN in Myrtle Beach. Go ahead.
That's right, Alex.
Thank you.
In Myrtle's Inlet. Well, it's just right connected to Myrtle Beach. This is truly an honor. Quickly, before I get into the main subject, I've been listening to your show for so many years, and I'm talking about the HOA situation. I lived for 10 years in Charleston, South Carolina. I still have a house I'm trying to sell.
Oh, right on.
In the HOA neighborhood. And I'm living here in Myrtle's Inlet, renting a house in an HOA area.
Mm-hmm.
But quickly about your show, you should be on as many shows as now, I don't have like live streaming video. I have track phone, which I have very limited time, and I listen to I have a very tight budget. But I picked up your show tonight, and you should be on as many radio stations, if not more, than Rush Limbaugh.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Always,
thanks.
Yeah, not to always listen to Rush, and I will turn off my television. I don't watch any of the news channels pretty much anymore. Pretty much just radio. And then I'll turn off my radio for days on end, don't listen to it, and listen to music. But you guys, you're outside of the box. This is really an honor to be talking to you.
Well, that's very kind of you. But I appreciate all the accolades, but let's get into, the reason you were calling.
Okay, so I live right now I'm trying to sell a house in Somerville, South Carolina, which is an HOA.
Mm-hmm.
And HOAs are all about keeping property value up, resale.
That's what they say.
And I think the problem is the HOAs are their own worst enemy is a quality of life. Now, the one I'm living here now in Myrtle's Inlet, it's nice, we have guarded security at night, to go through a security, which is great. Mm-hmm. But I was out mowing my grass, I just moved here, mowing my grass, and the guy next to me is a retired New York fire department guy in his 80s. And there's a palmetto tree, and and I was kind of like mowing it. It's like on a Saturday afternoon at 11 o'clock. So, and I kind of went, and the palmetto tree is like kind of on his line, but right between both of our property lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of went around to kind of clean up on his. And all of a sudden, this lady, I didn't know, she started yelling at me like, "Are you sure that's on your property line?" And I turned around. I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "Is that your property?" I said, well, actually, it's my next door neighbor.
Hold on. Just to be clear,
really?
This lady didn't live next door? She was just like on the street walking?
Yes.
Okay, so just some random resident of the neighborhood just starts haranguing you over how you're mowing the lawn.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock, a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Ostensibly an HOA member, if not the person. And I said, well, we've talked about it, and we know each other, and I don't think he's going to have any problem with me, weed eating, actually trying to weed eat around.
Were you basically doing your neighbor a favor by, mowing part of his lawn or something?
Right, that's what it sounds like.
Exactly. Yeah. And I just think, HOAs, they're kind of their own worst enemy. And I have a house now. I lived in one for 10 years. And it's like, you're keeping that property value up.
I don't know if I believe it. I don't know. I know that's the claim. Yeah. It
is. But there's a quality of life issue. And I'm going to get off the air and just say, really, it's great to call. But you said about, I didn't hear the first part of your program. And I'm going to go back out to my car and listen to it because I'm not rich, but I do have houses. But I'm type of, but this is, the past 10 years, it's great. This country's great. Things are great, and your show's great.
Thank you, Alex, for sharing your story. I really appreciate hearing from you. But that's the kind of petty crap that I expect to hear about when it comes to homeowners associations.
So, like, recently I had where I live, the roof over my doorway is subject to snow falling off the roof when it gets warm enough, and so it does frequently. And unbeknownst to me, I've been battling this myself, where like whenever some snow falls off the roof, I have to go reshovel.
Right.
And unbeknownst to me, I went out to go do it once, and it was already done. One of my neighbors or the landlord came by or somebody, right? And I was like, wow, that's awesome. So it sounds to me like if I were in an HOA that somebody would complain about that.
You never know. I mean, these are busybodies. These are people who, maybe this woman has absolutely nothing better to do with her time than skulk about the neighborhood finding violations. There's a violation. And then she, snitches you out to the association, files a report, you get a ticket, you get a warning or whatever. One of the worst that I remember was going to somebody whose house I was visiting, and they were in one of these neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And I drove a Toyota pickup truck at that time. I received a warning on my pickup truck. I was there in maybe the evening, 7 to 9 or something like that. I wasn't there for long, maybe like 15 minutes or 20, 30 max. It wasn't a long visit. And I come out and I find this, pink piece of paper on my windshield, and I look at it, and it informs me that there's rules in this here neighborhood that say that you can't have a truck parked in your driveway at all, basically, at any time.
What's the point of having a driveway?
Well, these people, whoever it is that's in charge of the neighborhood association, they believe that trucks are for working people. And we don't want to have it. They'll let you have a truck there during the day if it's like, a worker or something.
We don't want any of your kind around these parts.
Right. If you've got like I think it was after dark. It was after dark. Trucks are not allowed to be parked outside.
Little boxes on the hillside.
That's what I'm talking about here, right? So the rule ostensibly was because, we don't want our neighborhood to look like it's working class. Now, you can have that man with the truck parked in front of your house if he's there to fix your refrigerator or, work on the plumbing.
Like what happens when the cable guy comes by, right?
Yeah, it's fine. So it's fine during the day, but at nighttime, we need to have all those trucks put away. If you've got a truck, you need to have it in your garage, basically. And this is the kind of petty crap that these, what are they called? CCRs, covenants, codes, and restrictions. It's basically the laws of the neighborhood association.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but I don't want to live in a place like that. And I don't think that, at least for people like me, that doesn't increase value of property. To me, that decreases the value of property. Now, there certainly are some highfalutin, snooty people who, for them, these sorts of controls do increase the, you can't paint your house except the appropriate colors.
Well,
you can't have a palm
because to them,
tree.
you're the riffraff.
Yeah, you can't have a bush that's above 4 feet tall. Make sure you keep the grass trimmed, and et cetera, et cetera. And I don't have any value for that. Let's go to Graham. He's listening in Erie, Pennsylvania. Graham, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. You guys are talking about homeowners associations.
Yes, sir.
All the morality behind it aside, it's really just private sector feudalism.
Okay.
You got to follow their rules or they kick you off the land.
Oh, interesting.
You paid for it.
The only difference, though, is that people agree for homeowners associations, with the exception of the children who are born within them. The people who are living there, who purchased the homes, were presented with the rules in advance. Now, of course, they aren't always the same rules because they can change them over time, but they, at the very least, were presented with whatever the governance structure is. If you want, stand by, Graham. I don't know if you have more to tell us, but you're welcome to do that coming up here in hour number 2. So that is one of the key differences, and so that's why I'm not like, I don't care if you have one. because you've decided you want to. If that's what you want to do is argue with your neighbors over a bunch of piddly crap, and that's your idea of, important or a good time, then have at it. Just don't subject me to it by force. Right. And that's why government sucks.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,476. Silver at $16.94. And Bitcoin is trading around $7,236. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, drug recognition experts are arresting innocent sober people for DUI at an alarming rate, all based on a hunch. According to ABC 15 Arizona, stone-cold sober drivers in Phoenix, Arizona are getting DUIs and have to spend thousands of dollars proving their innocence. It seems the source of the misunderstandings and illegitimate arrests come from drug recognition experts. Those are cops with badges and fancy titles who claim they can look at a motorist and on observation alone determine if someone is impaired. Activist Post reports that testimony from DREs often holds up in court without so much as a failed breathalyzer or a dirty toxicology report showing alcohol and drugs in someone's system. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Oakland City Council President Rebecca Kaplan recently suggested a plan to house up to 1,000 people from the city's homeless population on a cruise ship. But officials with the Port of Oakland have disputed the proposal, calling it untenable. The Mind Unleashed reports that during a recent meeting, Kaplan told members of the city council that she has already been in contact with cruise ship companies about the possibility of using their vessels for emergency housing for the city's homeless. Kaplan suggested that the ship could work similarly to the Queen Mary in Long Beach, a large old ship that is now docked in the harbor, acting as a hotel for tourists and other visitors to the area. Many members of the council are on board with the proposal, but it would need to be approved by the Port of Oakland, and they seem reluctant to allow such a cruise ship to dock in their port for an extended period of time. Mike Zampa, a spokesman for the port, told the Chronicle that Oakland's port was designed for cargo ships, not cruise ships. Oakland has seen a huge spike in homelessness over the past 2 years, with the number of people on the street rising from 1,902 to 3,210. For years, professional athletes have been subjected to drug tests that screen for cannabis. The Major League Baseball organization has now announced their new drug testing policies and associated penalties. Until now, the MLB was one of the few major sporting leagues that did not test its players for recreational drugs. While they did have an official list of banned substances for many years, they only actually tested their players for performance-enhancing drugs. The Mind Unleashed reports that's all going to change this year, when they begin to test their players for cocaine and opiates. However, the league says that cannabis will be removed from their list of banned drugs and will be considered a recreational substance like alcohol. One ironic twist is that synthetic cannabis compounds will be screened for and treated as an abusive substance, as such chemicals have been known to be very harmful. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A man thanks God he's not sexually attracted to children, and Popeye's home is burglarized. Week in and week out, you come back like a housebroken Pomeranian, loyal to the bitter end. Good boy. This is the Onion Week in Review. Georgia's Cobb County Evangelical Hospital held its 5th annual Walk to Cure Gayness today, reportedly drawing thousands of participants to raise funds that would cure sufferers of their homosexuality and make gayness a thing of the past. Hospital administrators told reporters that funding from the walk would go into providing new state-of-the-art gayness treatment equipment, along with remodeling the hospital's physical therapy center, which has spent nearly 14 years reteaching gay men how to walk properly.
Oh God, I was a goner. But as you can see, I'm now happily married to a woman, and as of next month, I will have been in full remission for 2 whole years. I'm just so very, very happy. Everything's really good in my life.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. You're invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like Freedom. Live Saturday show with you tonight. It's Ian.
And apparently I am the more modern, more metal-looking Santa Claus.
We will take your calls and your thoughts about whatever you want. We've gotten off onto this Homeowners Association topic, which a lot of people apparently have opinions about.
Apparently, folks have been scarred by these things.
Understandably, because there's some sick neighborhood Nazi types that tend to make these associations up, people that want to wield whatever form of power they can get their hands on, and this is the best they can do, so they're going to wield it as hard as they can. And there's a man who is currently protesting a homeowners association in Caldwell, Idaho. At least I believe it's Idaho. It's the Idaho Press who's reporting on this. And he has put up a couple of Nazi flags on his home, as well as he's got signage up that says HOAs are Nazis and don't buy CBH Homes, which is the construction development corporation that's making the neighborhood.
I wonder if he got the flags off Amazon.
That's what I was wondering.
Do you get them like 2-day shipping or whatever?
I would be shocked if Amazon sells these things, because there's certain things that these mega corporations, if it's brought to their attention, they're going to pull the products down. So I don't know where he got these flags. I imagine somebody out there somewhere is willing to sell you them. And he found them, he put them up, and also the signage. And the funny thing is, it's right across the street from the sales home, meaning the touring home where people go to look. Oh, let's see if we want to buy a house here, honey. Yeah, he's right across. He's right there. So they're not so happy about it in the Homeowners Association. And of course, this has led to a discussion about the idea of a homeowners association in general. Some people say that it increases values of homes. I say, at least for me, it decreases it. I don't want to live in a place where my neighbors get to just vote and tell me what to do.
I want to live free. I don't know about you.
Right. To me, I would much rather be in a place where somebody can leave a dryer out in their front lawn, or 3 cars, or one up on stilts, or whatever, right? Like, to me, that feels like freedom to me. When I see that, I'm like, all right, now this is where I want to be, because nobody cares. People are leaving their neighbors alone.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I want to see. Let's go back to Graham. He's in Pennsylvania. Graham, you wanted to weigh in here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you said earlier about how you sign up for the homeowners association, but you don't sign away your humanity, your basic other rights. And it's just like you said earlier, you don't care if your neighbor, parks a bunch of cars in their lawns, as long as everyone just leaves each other alone. That's
right.
My basic premise, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I'm with you, but that's why people like us don't belong in homeowners associations, because those kind of people do not want cars parked in yards. They do not want people, doing the things that they want to with their homes. They want to tell you what to do. And this is the problem with all coercive governments. But the difference between a homeowners association and a coercive government is the coercion, meaning that government association, or the state, if you will, is forced upon everybody within a given landmass, whatever arbitrary landmass these criminals have decided they're going to rule over. And then they have this voting structure put up in place, and all this window dressing to make people think that there's something that's special going on. And, they've got this mythology about how we're all the government, and, all this crap is crammed down our throats in the schools that they run. So they're indoctrinating people from, the word go. And so people can easily see the problems in homeowners associations, but they can't as easily see them in the organization known as the state.
Yeah. But right now, the current legal government system we live in, or the homeowners associations, are enforced in government-run courts.
Yep.
Well, that's true. But your agreements should be enforced somehow, meaning if you've agreed to a set of rules, whether it be a homeowners association or a business arrangement, some sort of a contract, if you've signed a contract, there should be an enforcement of that. I'm not saying it has to be the government that enforces it. The market can come up with ways to enforce these things, like with reputation ratings, for instance. Like if you break an agreement, there could be a black mark that goes in some sort of private reputation score, and like, oh, well, Captain Kickass didn't do what he said he was going to do in this instance, and, if I want to get into an agreement with him, I might check his reputation score and see that, so-and-so, his previous employer, said that he stole the coffee maker, or, whatever.
Right. My experience with homeowners associations was pretty limited, but it did specify arbitration. So they were not using, the state, for the actual dispute resolution. What they did use the state for was enforcement of the dispute resolution. So if they eventually came to the conclusion that they were going to kick somebody out or take their property or whatever, it was the state that had to come and physically remove a person.
Well, that's because the state won't allow for usually private security to compete with them.
Right.
Private security, of course, is generally licensed by the state in most places. And so if the private security organizations try to compete with the state police, then they'll consider them a competing gang, and they'll treat them like a gang and go after them. So the private security won't cross certain lines in most cases. But that is a good point, that arbitration clauses do tend to be what you find in terms of service and in contracts. And the reason for that is because the state courts are slow and expensive. And so most commercial contracts have arbitration clauses.
Yeah, arbitration is a fantastic idea and I would like to see it expand in the absence of the state, but
Right.
Because it's more efficient, it's voluntary.
They're professionals too,
and more yeah. And there are people that are the best persons for this type of job who make fair decisions and have reputations that their entire business is based upon, et cetera, and so on.
Graham, any other thoughts you want to share? Go ahead.
Do you know the names of any of those arbitration organizations?
The American Arbitration Association, AAA, American Arbitration Association. That's the only one I've ever seen in contracts. I suspect they have competitors, but I don't know who their competitors are.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know international businesses use arbitration far more than businesses that are just based within the country of the United States, and this is because there is no sort of state methodology to enforce international contracts, right? So if you have a contract with a company overseas, you generally are going to have in that contract, okay, well, we agree to do X, Y, and Z, and then, if there's ever any disagreement with what we do, we will settle it via this arbitration method, because it's really difficult for, say somebody in Japan and somebody in the United States, which authority are you going to recognize? Are you going to recognize the USA or Japan, for your dispute resolution? Well, the answer is neither, because that's unfair. And
whatever's in the contract is what is specified, right? So that's why a lot of agreements will say that their contract or their terms of service is underneath the laws of California or underneath the laws of New York or whatever.
But if I'm based in the U.S., I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I'll just go ahead and abide by the laws of Japan. No, and then the guy in Japan's not going to say, oh yeah, I'll just So you got to come to some sort of other conclusion, and that generally means third-party arbitrator.
Graham, thank you for the call tonight. I definitely appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The Boardwalk Association Management, or BAM, which is the management company that was hired by the Neighborhood Association in the case where the guy's got the Nazi flags up, they put out this statement. They say, we're a hired management company that handles the day-to-day business operations of the Neighborhood Association. Boardwalk helps communities enforce the covenants, codes, and restrictions that are set by the association. These rules are intended to preserve and protect the community's property values. Boardwalk helps the neighborhood maintain compliance by conducting inspections of the community. So these are like private cops, basically, private enforcers for the neighborhood association. Going on, they say, sending out friendly reminders and issuing subsequent notices for items that are in violation of the community's CCRs. Buyers are given a copy of the CCRs before they purchase their home. Boardwalk has assisted in getting decision makers and contributing parties together to communicate and find a resolution to this matter promptly.
You know what this reminds me of? Hall monitors. Hall monitors in school. That's what it reminds me of.
855-450-FREE. They got their sash and their badge.
You got your hall pass.
855-450-3733. You can bring up what you want, whether it is Homeowners Association, neighborhood Nazis, or we can get back into the good news coming up as well. Best decade ever? We'll talk about it.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at marketfreetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. Marketfreetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, marketfreetalklive.com.
What good is living in a free society if you don't live a free life? Being stuck in a job or being locked into a relationship, but you're not free to do what you want. I'm Caleb Jones, and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Watch our free, on-demand replay training with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here on the radio waves. You may take control of the airwaves. Our number, 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Here tonight, it's Ian.
I say, it is Foghorn Leghorn.
It's a good one.
Just kidding. It's Captain Kickass.
Good nutrition is key to looking and feeling great. Eating right all the time, though, is a challenge, especially when travel and work schedules get in the way, or maybe you just don't have the desire or the time to shop and cook the right foods. Balance of Nature can help you with just 3 of their Balance of Nature fruit capsules and 3 of their veggie capsules. You get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, and that's a lot of nutrition. You can go online to become a preferred customer, which gives you the best pricing and free shipping. Plus, after your 3rd month, Balance of Nature will ship to you at no charge an additional set of fruits and veggies. To get the deal, you go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL like Free Talk Live. That's balanceofnature.com, code FTL.
That reminds me, I need to re-up. I've been on that. And,
you're liking it?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I don't the veggie capsules. I don't eat them as capsules. I actually take the capsules apart and use them as additional seasoning. Yeah,
I've heard they're good for that.
And it's great, especially on vegetables. I know it's vegetables on vegetables, but
hey, whatever.
You know, it tastes great, man. They are delicious things.
Good to know. So check it out. We go to your calls and thoughts, and then we'll get back into the good news, where the claim is, at least by this article at The Spectator that you began sharing with us at the beginning of the hour, and then we talked about homeowners associations. The claim is this has been the best decade ever, and we're going to talk more about that, see how this author will back up that claim. First, though, Leslie is on the line in Oregon and listening on our Discord server. Go ahead, Leslie.
Yeah, this is Wesley.
Oh, hi, Wes. Hi,
with a
Wesley.
G in the Discord. Yeah, what's up? I wanted to talk about the banks and how they have
Banes?
The banks.
Banks.
B-A-N-K. Yeah, banks.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you sound okay for somebody on a phone. Why you're not calling on Discord when you're on our Discord server, I don't understand that, but it's okay. Here you are.
Well, it's because I don't have headphones. That's why, and it will sound worse if I didn't have headphones.
I see.
But yeah, but they really wrecked this economy. They jacked up the price for everything. It's because there's no. Usually, in the free market, it's regulated by demand and cost. But with the banks handing out free money, there's no regulation for the cost anymore. So, and then you have demand skyrocketed because even if the school loan, even if going to school costs $100,000 and people can't afford it, well, they can still just get a government, and they don't have to worry about it. And it's really it jacked up the prices for everything, for cars, for school, for.
Yeah, I'm with you, particularly on the student loan bit. The government created the problem, and now it's masquerading as the solution to student loans. It all started when government decided to guarantee student loans. And that just, sort of made it a free-for-all for all these lenders to just go ahead and lend anybody, regardless of their financial qualifications or what type of degree they were going to get or what the job market looked like post-graduation. It allowed anybody to just willy-nilly go get a student loan, no matter, who you were, your financial status, what your backing was, because the government was going to guarantee it. So if you defaulted, didn't matter to them, the government was going to pay them back.
Yeah, it's hard for me to blame the banks. What you're talking about is more of like government banks, like the Federal Reserve or Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, these sort of government financial institutions. The banks are just sort of almost victims. I'm not going to say all the banks are good guys or whatever. Obviously Chase and some of these other ones have some just awful people at the top. But my local banks here in Keene, New Hampshire, they're run by nice people who, they just want to help people save their money
But the banks don't do, if you think about fundamentally what a bank is supposed to be, it's supposed to be a safe place to keep your valuables.
Yeah.
Right? And they don't really do that now.
Well, you can still get a safe deposit box in a bank.
Yeah, but that's not the majority of their business.
No, that's true. But, I don't think these people in banking, many of them got into it because they want to fleece the average person or whatever. I think that, they're just trying to provide a service to their community. People need loans. People need, these banking services, and they're out there providing them. So I don't know. I don't think it's fair to drag all banks through the mud, even though the big ones are, tend to be pretty awful.
I'm curious, Wes, how what do you mean, or can you provide an example of how the banks have ruined a thing?
Well, it's hard to pick one bank. I kind of view it from kind of a broad, bird's eye view kind of thing. But if you're against the Fed, well, who these banks, the banks in Keene, ultimately they get their money from the Fed.
Sure, but they have to.
Yeah, and the reason why they have to is because they only have a fraction of it's a fractional reserve banking system.
Yeah, and fractional reserve banking is a crazy thing. Let's explain that for our listeners who don't know what it is. Can you explain it, Wes?
Yeah, so essentially, they don't keep, say you have a certain number in the bank in your bank account. They don't actually have that much in their vault. So they only keep a fraction of what they owe in their bank in their as what they own. So they really they say that they owe all these people money, but they don't have that much money in their bank.
Right. So there's if you had $1,000 in the bank, there's literally not a pile with $1,001 bills in any bank with Wesley's name on it. They might have $10. right, is what you're saying.
What they can do is they can loan out a certain number of times the amount that they have on deposits.
10
and
times.
Then essentially, 9, 10 times, something like that. It essentially allows them to create money out of thin air. And this is a power that is conferred upon the banks by the Federal Reserve System. So ultimately, many of these banks are just sort of like arms, basically, of the Federal Reserve that, again, I don't think they got into it to really kind of hurt their neighbors or whatever. Many of them, I think they're honest. Some of them are really, good folks. I've had a nice meeting with a bank president here in town, and he was genuinely interested in cryptocurrency, and he just seemed like one of those small town banker guys that just wants to help his neighbors out. I don't think that's true at, when you get up to the Bank of America /Chase/ all these other ones out there, these massive mega banks. So I think there are differences between them, even though they all are government regulated and government insured and controlled from top to bottom. It sucks being a banker, honestly. I mean, the bank president that I had a meeting with about cryptocurrency, he was not a fan of having to follow all these regulations, but that's the business he's in.
Wes, I do have some good news for you, though, and that is that, in my opinion, banks are the new newspapers. And that is to say that they're about to die off in large numbers in your lifetime. Thank you to cryptocurrency, putting the power of banks decentralized and in the hands of folks who own a smartphone.
Hey, almost said Leslie, Glenn. If you had more to say on this, hang on. We'll bring it back here, Wes. It sounded like you might have had another comment. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And, we've seen newspapers shutting down, cutting their production runs to 2 or 3 times a week. More on the way here. This is Free Talk Live. And, of course, banks have been failing for a long time, so that's nothing new. But you're predicting many more will be failing soon. More coming up.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
In a dramatic scene last night, a coalition of the nation's damaged women staged a drunken, tear-soaked march on the Capitol just after 2 a.m. Jane Carmichael has more.
Thank you, Brooke. The damaged women began their protest yesterday afternoon, marching on the National Mall at about 4 p.m., and then marching away furious, saying they were done with Congress once and for all. But then they came back again late last night, insisting that someone in Washington listen to them for once. The late-night protests started with tearful apologies, but quickly moved to anger as marchers demanded that Congress pass a bill making it illegal to say you love someone and then up and leave as soon as there's one little problem.
Why are you ignoring us? Stop ignoring us! Why don't you hear me when I talk to you? Wipe the smirk off of your face. No, come back! Come back because we think that we want you to care about us!
I don't need to pay a therapist to tell me I'm unhappy! I know I'm unhappy!
This is the Onion News Network.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
We just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The Next Generation Wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to spend, earn, store, and exchange digital money in seconds. Divvy says you'll be able to send money around the globe in only a swipe and instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat currency right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. There's no need to wait, however, as Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with their multi-tiered masternodes, allowing anyone to earn by supporting the Divvy network. When their new Divvy wallet launches, because of Divvy's relationship with Western Union, Divvy will be in 200 countries, including the United States. You can learn more at divvyproject.org. That's divvyproject.org. As we go back to your calls and thoughts, Wesley is on the line in Oregon, listening over our Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm. And Wes, you've been commenting on banks. Go ahead with, I think you had something else to say.
Yeah, so Captain said, well, it's a good thing that you're so young because cryptocurrency is going to, be the new alternative to banks.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that, but the thing is, like, with the legal tender laws, businesses are forced to accept the dollar, and that was a real problem with currencies like gold and silver, and also because of the capital gains tax. They're considered property instead of currency, and so that was like the real miracle of crypto, was because it was kind of decentralized. Like governments have a really hard time controlling it, but they, maybe they could crack down on crypto, and right now it looks promising. But if they really crack down on it, it might not overtake the banks. And also, Ian, you said something like, well, people who are in the banks are really nice people, and I agree with that. Like, it's not really their fault. Like, there's a lot of nice people who go into these systems,
mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, the system at large is really ruining society, in my opinion. Like,
well, I mean, there's no doubt the Federal Reserve System is a mess, and it's awful, and it hurts a lot of people. There's no doubt about that.
Well, and I think the problem. I think the problem is still, it's education, right? Not enough people know the damage that they're doing when they do, take a job in, like a government position or a position of, finance, that kind of a thing. That it's just really education.
Yeah, like a lot of good people, they join the military because they want free college, or they want a stable job, but they don't realize, the horrors of going to war, and things like that. A lot of good people become police officers and judges, but they become part of the system, and they they kind of turn a blind eye, and they're kind of like,
yeah, no doubt, and they're asked,
and the system corrupts them once they get in too. Sure. I mean, absolute power corrupts, absolutely, and even the most noble person, that joins, say a government organization, is not going to be able to remain completely, ethical or even moral in that position,
because part of their job is to do what they're told by the government system, and it's hurting people. Like, for instance, the what they call suspicious activity reports, which they file on people who they believe are trying to avoid the cash transaction reporting requirement of $10,000 cash deposit in one day. So if you go in and you deposit $9,000 one day and then $9,000 the next day and then $9,000, then they're going to write one of these reports up on you. It's not because they think you're a bad person or because they think that what you're doing is wrong. It's because they are told they have to.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then they themselves could face punishment. Wes, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. I'm not excusing the behavior. That's what he was talking about, how a good person can get into a job because they want to help, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, now I'm this government enforcer and I have to enforce all these stupid rules.
Can you imagine, though, I like to imagine things. I've always had a pretty good imagination. I like to imagine if banks were not state regulated. Can you imagine how quickly they would adopt multiple currencies and choose one that they think is going to have the most features and the best benefit to their customer base, and do them the most good, and all that kind of stuff? Like, use their knowledge and their power for the benefit of their customer base instead of being forced to comply with the violence of the state.
I do wonder about what Wes said there about how legal tender, this is what I've always heard and have believed about legal tender, is that the legal tender laws, as Wes said, supposedly force people to accept the U.S. government's currency, the Federal Reserve note, in payments for all debts, public and private. But what does that really mean? Is it a debt? When I come up to the cash register and I put my product, I'm buying an apple from you, Captain Kickass, and you're running the register, am I incurring a debt for like a fraction of a second there, or is that just a sale? In which case, can you legally refuse to accept U.S. dollars? I've always thought that you were forced by law to accept them, but I don't know if that's true.
I mean, if it's anything other than a Federal Reserve note, then isn't that really just barter?
That's a good question.
Like if you pay me for this apple in Bitcoin,
gold backs or Bitcoin,
or whatever, you give me a PlayStation 4 in exchange for it, right? That's barter.
Well, so the reason what kind of helped me change my perspective on this was when our friends Derek and Steven from AnyPay, they opened what was called at the time the Bitcoin shop in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It was a little shop where, they got all little knickknacks and necklaces and T-shirts and Bitcoin gear, right? Like Bitcoin hats and anything with the Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency logos on them. They would sell them there. Doge pillows, it's really cool stuff.
Nice.
And books, etc. But nothing. They would not sell anything in the store for dollars.
Nice.
So if you came in, like, they would have like a rack of T-shirts, like kind of like, not really even Bitcoin shirts, but like sciencey, geeky shirts. They had this rack of shirts outside the store during the summer months. And so people would see the shirts and they'd be like, oh, I want to get this shirt. And they'd come inside and they'd try to buy the shirt and they'd tell them, oh, sorry, we can't take that. We won't take dollars. We only take cryptocurrency here at the Bitcoin shop. Now, they did have a vending machine, a cryptocurrency vending machine in the shop, and that was the only thing that you could use dollars for, was to buy crypto, with which you could then buy something in the store. And the whole purpose of it was to be an educational experience for people.
It's beautiful, man. Love it.
Like, somebody would be shocked they can't buy something with dollars, and that would lead to questions and lead to a conversation about cryptocurrency. But that made me think, well, is this illegal, what they're doing, to refuse to accept dollars? And I still wonder about that. I wonder if, if the Federal Reserve or federal government had found out about that, could they have taken some sort of legal action against them? I don't know.
I mean, again, as far as I know, the government has ruled that Bitcoin is not a currency. So it's a commodity. Yeah. So therefore, if you exchange it for a good or a service, that's barter.
But is it legal to refuse dollars? Whether you're taking Bitcoin or chicken eggs or whatever, is it illegal to say to somebody, no, I'm selling this product, or I'm willing to trade this product, but I'm not willing to sell it for dollars.
I can't see why not.
Well, because of legal tender laws, supposedly. It was what supposedly forced people to take dollars.
I mean,
but I just don't know if they do.
I guess I'd have to.
I've never read them.
Yeah, I
just
don't,
heard about it.
I don't know the mechanism, but I don't like.
Well, the mechanism's men with guns.
Well, okay, but I mean, the words on the paper,
men.
right? I haven't read the words on the paper with the gun behind it that force people to do so. But I can't. I mean, this is sort of the gray area that cryptocurrencies exist in, right? They force people to ask these questions, and I'm inclined to think no, there's nothing illegal about not accepting.
You would think you
FRNs.
should have the freedom to say no to a payment method.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. If you know more about it and you want to weigh in, you're welcome to jump on to the phones. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And if we get the chance, we'll get back into the list of reasons why one author at The Spectator says that this decade that's just about to end was the best one ever.
In all of history.
855-450-FREE, like freedom. You can join us on Free Talk Live.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNLife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've create a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNLife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Bags under the eyes, crow's feet, fine lines and wrinkles are things adults complain about as they age. Now there's Instantly Ageless. It works in minutes and is great for men and women.
I've probably noticed in the past 5 years that my eyes have gained a lot of fine lines, wrinkles, my crow's feet have gotten deeper. Wow, I was hoping for 5 years, but that's like what my eyes looked like 10 years ago.
That is really cool. Wrinkle gone.
It's easy. You just put it on your finger and go. Now I wish I had more down here because I can still see one wrinkle. It's bugging me.
I am a little bit emotional. Turning 40, I didn't think would be a big deal to me, but that looks like the me that I feel like inside instead of what I see when I look in the mirror.
Try Instantly Ageless today at GCNLife.com. That's GCNLife.com. 30-day money-back guarantee and preferred price discount at GCNLife.com. That's GCNLife.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in lines. They're over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And the Reverend Captain Kickass.
And I want to make sure you know about Bitcoin.com. We're talking about alternative currencies, talking about other things besides the government money, those Federal Reserve notes in the United States or other forms of government gang money across the world, which are created by, as they call it, fiat, the declaration of a so-called authority, a king or whatever.
Backed by the full faith and force of the military.
Bitcoin.com is not backed by those things. Bitcoin.com will help you understand Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and get you started down that road of financial independence from being controlled by these government monies, because government money is awful, and it was designed to be awful. It was designed to be a transfer of wealth from the poor to the politically connected, and the wealthy to the politically connected, to everybody who's not politically connected to the politically connected. That's what it was designed to do, and that's what it's been doing. But if you want to get out from underneath that system, then get over to Bitcoin.com. They can kind of start you down that road. And when you're ready to buy Bitcoin Cash or sell Bitcoin Cash, you can do that on their new website, local.bitcoin.com. Now, I guess it's not that new. It started in June, so half a year old, but it's still relatively new in the scheme of things. Go to local.bitcoin.com. There's no ID requirements to sign up for and to use the site, and communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted at local.bitcoin.com. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. It's local.bitcoin.com. We can talk more about legal tender because you and I have been doing some research, Captain Kickass, and I think we're going to get to the bottom of this, at least as much as two non-attorneys can do here. But first, Jet is on the line, calling from somewhere in the United States. Go ahead, Jet.
As you know, I like to call in to help people free their minds from this concept we call government.
Please do.
And I've tried different perspectives along the way.
Oh, right. You're the guy that wants us to stop using the word government, right?
Yeah, because there is no such thing as local, state, and federal government. But
well, there's people calling themselves government.
Yeah, and I've developed a little list here to help people change their mind, to get to alter their mindset. This is kind of the bottom line of the whole deal.
Okay, lay it on me.
Well, first of all, because we have to acknowledge that this thing we call government is really a psyop. It's all psychology. It's just other people, somebody's neighbor, somebody's relative, somebody's friend, this type of thing. So in order to nullify this thing in people's mind, you have to come to the place and recognize that it is just psychology. And here's the list. Since they're just other people, just other people don't get to make rules over you or chain you up if you break one of those rules that they've made up.
Right.
Just other people don't get to rob your paycheck to fund their personal lives and luxuries. Just other people don't get to know how much you earned, how you earned it, or how or where you spent it. Just other people don't get to tell you what you may eat, drink, or smoke. Just other people don't get to tell you what tools you may own or what you may use to protect yourself or create your own personal security. And just other people don't get to tap your phones or read your mail or peek in your windows.
Right.
Or worse, break down your door whenever they feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
Just got a couple more here. Just other people don't get to demand that you answer their questions. And just other people don't get to threaten you with violence and punish you when you disagree with their opinion. So if people can get in their mind that these are just other people, they don't have special rights because they have given themselves some fancy title. They're just other humans. That's where you have to get to in your head to be able to then begin your journey toward freedom.
Oh, I totally agree. And Jet, one of the problems that we constantly run up against with people is that they have a belief system that justifies just other people doing all of those things. And the belief system is that they're part of the system, that they have consented to it, that by participating in it, giving their energy to it, that they are, they've got a stake in the game somehow, and that if it weren't for these rules, and yes, they may be able to acknowledge that these other people are, capricious and arbitrary and violent and stupid and ignorant and, awful in so many ways, but they are of the belief system that if they were to let go of that structure, that belief system in their mind that justifies the existence of the state in their minds, because again, the state's just an idea, that they believe that there would be chaos.
Well, don't allow anyone just walking up to you on the street, being just another person, to be able to do these things to you. That's the place you have to get. Whether you're talking to the chief at the city council or just some guy in a costume that walks up to you, if you just talk to them, understand in your mind, that's where the change has to come, in your mind, that these are just other people and do not have any right to do anything that they do other than anything that you may do.
But here's another key to it. I mean, I don't think you're wrong, Jet, but the other key is you have to let go of a desire that you might have. Now, you and I don't have this desire. But we talked about the people that do earlier in the show tonight when we were discussing homeowners associations. You have to let go of the desire to control your neighbors.
Yeah.
Because if you have that desire, then those other people are going to continue to control you. That's just sort of the way the world works. You want to control others, you will find yourself controlled every time.
Remember what Ernie says? He says there are only two types of people in this world: those who wish to be left alone and those who refuse to leave them alone.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Jet. The hallucination that people have that just because folks are wearing a different costume, they got a shiny badge or some other sort of logo, that's from the people. Other people that call themselves government, they hallucinate that they have the right to do bad things to them.
So that's the mantra. That's my mantra. That's the bottom line. They're just other people, just other people.
Yep.
Keep pushing that.
It's a good mantra. Thank you, Jet, for the call tonight. Unfortunately, that's not all it's going to take. That's a good thing. I mean, I'm not saying Jet always has good advice, and I think
he in the Discord?
I don't know, but he ought to be.
I was hoping he could post that list up in the somewhere.
Jet, get in the Discord. We'd love to have you in there. Go to discord.lrn.fm, and that way other people can talk to you, and you can put that stuff in there. But every time Jet talks, I agree with everything that he says. But a lot of these other people do want to control others, and a lot of people, honestly, and it's sad to say this, but they want to be told what to do. There are people in the world. They're not like us. We don't want. As long as I can remember, I didn't like being told what to do.
Me neither.
And it wasn't just like pushing back against my parents, because my parents were good folks for the most part. I heard yours weren't, but regardless, I had a different upbringing and it was good, but I still didn't like being told what to do. When I was in school, I didn't like being told. As long as I can remember, back in elementary school, I remember going against what I was told to do.
Yeah, me too. I had a fierce independent streak regardless of my situation.
I think some of us are born that way. And I think that some of us are born the opposite way.
But I mean, I agree with you. Yes, there are people who, perhaps desire to be told what to do. They should be able to go and find whomever they believe is the best person to do that for them.
And they can.
Rather than having it imposed upon them by 51% of the vote.
But that's where the fear comes in, right? Because these people believe they need to be told what to do because it makes them feel secure or whatever they're looking for, right? They're looking for something. They're looking for a leader. They're looking for security. They're looking for whatever. But they believe other people are like them. And other people also need to be told what to do, because if you don't tell them what to do, if you don't force them to do what they ought to do, then they'll do things that you don't like. They'll do things that you disagree with. And there's that mentality of, well, I can't allow that. I must tell people what to do for their own good.
The first premise of freedom, in my opinion, is the acceptance of everybody else. Right. Like, I came to the conclusion a long time ago that I wanted to be free. And then the first premise that I had to wrap my head around was that in order for me to do that, I have to allow everybody else to be free, to be them. I have to let go, as you say, of, sort of the desire to say, oh, well, I think everybody should do it this way, and that type of a thing. And once you let go of that, you become a much more free person. And I don't know how to, sort of give that to other people, but I'm trying. That's why I'm here on this show.
And that's all we can do, because we would never force our beliefs. If you want to be controlled, like Captain Kickass said, go find somebody to tell you what to do. There are people out there that would love to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live. Hour 3 is next.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Back in January, February, I'd get home, make myself something to eat, blah, blah, blah. My girlfriend works nights. By 8:30, 8 o'clock, I'd be in bed. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, if this is what the rest of life is like, I'm doomed. Today is day 14 of me taking Balance of Nature, and my energy level's through the roof. It took me 5 years of hearing it on talk radio to actually try it. The difference is night and day.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,476, silver at $16.94, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,236. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, drug recognition experts are arresting innocent sober people for DUI at an alarming rate, all based on a hunch. According to ABC 15 Arizona, stone-cold sober drivers in Phoenix, Arizona are getting DUIs and have to spend thousands of dollars proving their innocence. It seems the source of the misunderstandings and illegitimate arrests come from drug recognition experts. Those are cops with badges and fancy titles who claim they can look at a motorist and on observation alone determine if someone is impaired. Activists Post reports that testimony from DREs often holds up in court without so much as a failed breathalyzer or a dirty toxicology report showing alcohol and drugs in someone's system. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Oakland City Council President Rebecca Kaplan recently suggested a plan to house up to 1,000 people from the city's homeless population on a cruise ship. But officials with the Port of Oakland have disputed the proposal, calling it untenable. The Mind Unleashed reports that during a recent meeting, Kaplan told members of the city council that she has already been in contact with cruise ship companies about the possibility of using their vessels for emergency housing for the city's homeless. Kaplan suggested that the ship could work similarly to the Queen Mary in Long Beach, a large old ship that is now docked in the harbor, acting as a hotel for tourists and other visitors to the area. Many members of the council are on board with the proposal, but it would need to be approved by the Port of Oakland, and they seem reluctant to allow such a cruise ship to dock in their port for an extended period of time. Mike Zampa, a spokesman for the port, told the Chronicle that Oakland's port was designed for cargo ships, not cruise ships. Oakland has seen a huge spike in homelessness over the past 2 years, with the number of people on the street rising from 1,902 to 3,210. For years, professional athletes have been subjected to drug tests that screen for cannabis. The Major League Baseball organization has now announced their new drug testing policies and associated penalties. Until now, the MLB was one of the few major sporting leagues that did not test its players for recreational drugs. While they did have an official list of banned substances for many years, they only actually tested their players for performance-enhancing drugs. The Mind Unleashed reports that's all going to change this year when they begin to test their players for cocaine and opiates. However, the league says that cannabis will be removed from their list of banned drugs and will be considered a recreational substance like alcohol. One ironic twist is that synthetic cannabis compounds will be screened for and treated as an abusive substance, as such chemicals have been known to be very harmful. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A new study finds most high school graduates are woefully unprepared for high school, and a bag of flour has a slave auction on its front. This is the Onion Week in Review. This week, Secretary of Labor Thomas Perez unveiled plans to boost the nation's struggling job market by giving every unemployed American a self-serve yogurt shop. Saying that the frozen yogurt business model is robust, profitable, and that they've pretty much exhausted other options, Perez explained that owners will be responsible for stocking their own topping bars with items such as Oreo crumbles, minced kiwi, cashews, and gummy bears. Estimates indicate the country will need to increase daily consumption of frozen yogurt by approximately 2.3 gallons per person in order for the new stores to remain solvent. And in this week's local news, something is apparently going on between a mom and her friend. In other news, Taco Bell warns its employees against ever exposing their skin to its food. A sad man tears 2 bananas off of a larger bunch, and a new report finds everything you've ever wanted has been right in front of you all along.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and you are invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And the captain.
So for those of you just tuning in, hopefully we'll get a chance to get back into the list of reasons why
the good news?
The decade that is just about to end, we've got another 10 days, and then this decade's over.
Yep.
It was the best one ever. And the list sounded really interesting. We got into like the first paragraph.
Yep.
So we'll get into that, hopefully. But we've been talking about legal tender, and I know that doesn't sound like the most interesting of topics, but it's something that I've been confused about for some amount of time. Because
what kind of dipping sauce do you want with your legal tenders?
Because here's the thing with laws. They're designed to be confusing.
Oh, yeah.
They're designed to be hard to understand. They're designed to make it so, you got to have an attorney to help you understand this crap. It's written in a language called legalese, which is similar to English. It uses English words, but what they do with legalese is they take words that you think you know the definition to, like the classic example is the word person.
Person.
Where in legalese, a person can be a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
In the real world that we all live in, a person's a human being, flesh and blood. That's what a person is. But in legal land, it can be a file folder with papers in it. Crazy.
Yep.
But that's legal land for you. So when you look at the dollar, the U.S. Federal Reserve note, there's a notice on there that says in all capital letters.
Well, first of all, for anybody who's tuning in fresh, we were asking the question if a business could just not accept the dollar, United States, in any way, shape, or form, and only, for example, accept like cryptocurrency, for example.
Right, and for a long time, I thought maybe that would be illegal based on my layman's understanding of legal tender. And if you just read the notice on the dollar, and I mean all of the dollars, they all have this. I'm looking at the $10 bill here. In all capital letters, it says, "This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private."
Right.
And so, of course, then that you have to ask the question, well, what does it mean to be a debt?
Right. When does something become a debt versus a sale?
Yeah, if I'm buying a loaf
of
bread at the grocery store, am I in debt to the store for the second, for the minute or whatever, how long the transaction takes? So that's when you've got to get into, okay, well, what is the actual code? What does the law actually say? There's an article over at Forbes asking the question, what is a legal tender law? And Nathan Lewis writes here, looks like it was a couple of years ago that he wrote this. He says, over the years, there's been some discussion about legal tender laws. He says, I talked to a legal expert about it and discovered, as I suspected, that it doesn't quite mean the same thing as many people think it does. Here is my non-expert explanation. The present legal tender law in the U.S. is Section 5103 of Title 31 of the U.S. Code, which reads, and I'm going to actually go to the code, just rather than taking Forbes' word for it. This is law.cornell.edu. Here's what it says. It's short. It's really short for law.
Yeah.
Like that's normally laws are super complex. Here's what it says. United States coins and currency, in parentheses they say including Federal Reserve notes and circulating notes of Federal Reserve banks and national banks. The reason they have to add that in is because that's not U.S. currency. That's not U.S. coins. Federal Reserve is a semi-private organization that does business with the United States government. United States government gang. Anyway, going on. So, United States coins and currency, including Federal Reserve notes, are legal tender for all debts, public charges, taxes, and dues.
Right.
Foreign gold or silver coins are not legal tender for debts. That's the end of the code. That's all it says. But what does it mean when it says debts?
Well,
okay? There's a definition.
Okay.
You can actually, Cornell actually makes it easy. You can click on it because otherwise you're going to be searching and searching and searching and trying to find the damn definition section, which is apparently code 3701 of the same Title 31. So in this title, this money and finance title, because again, these codes are just labyrinthine. You can't find your way around these things. In this title, the word debt, according to this, it means any amount of funds or property that has been determined by an appropriate official of the federal government to be owed to the United States by a person, organization, or entity than another federal agency. Meaning, if you owe the government gang money, or at least they say you owe them money, then legal tender is the only thing the government gang can accept as payment of that debt.
Right.
That's what they're saying here.
Well, and then as a companion piece to that, from treasury.gov, under their FAQ section about legal tender status, they also have the exact same verbiage that you just read from Section 31 USC 5103. But beyond that, they also have some text that says, this statute means that all United States money as identified above are valid and legal offer of payment for debts tendered to a creditor. There is, however, no federal statute mandating that a private business, a person, or an organization must accept currency or coins as payment for goods and or services.
Right.
So that leads me to believe that in our imaginary scenario where there's a store that...
Which did exist, called the Bitcoin Shop in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
That flat out refuses to accept the United States dollar. Would that be legal or illegal? It leads me to believe it'd be totally legal.
It sounds like it's legal.
Yeah.
And I think that's great news. So that's why this is confusing. The wording on the actual dollar that says this note is legal tender for all debts public and private, that's misleading, which of course is common for government stuff where they don't have to be honest with you. And what it's saying here is that, yeah, it's legal tender, meaning that if you have a debt with somebody denominated in dollars, then they can't refuse to accept dollars from you. Right, like if you and I get into a contract and you're renting from me or something like that, and the contract says you have to pay $500 a month for this crash space or whatever, this band rehearsal space,
right?
And then you say, well, I want to give you gold for that. Well, it's in the contract,
right?
It's you got to pay me dollars.
But if you as the business owner specify in the contract that I don't accept United States dollars.
Right. I'll only take gold backs.
Or I'll take anything except that.
Right.
For example, that of equivalent value, right? You could state that easily in a contract. I think that would be... Now, keep in mind, listeners, that we are not attorneys, so this is not legal advice. But
that's a good disclaimer.
We are speculating that according to what we can find...
There's no law, according to... This was a U.S. Treasury that you were reading from.
Treasury.gov FAQ page.
Yeah. So there you go. You went to the source. There's no law, according to the U.S. Treasury, that forces business owners to accept the dollar. So if you wanted to open a store that accepted only alternatives, we'll take gold. We'll take Bitcoin. We'll take other cryptocurrencies. We will not take the dollar. It sounds like you're in good legal footing there. That's my, non-legal opinion.
And since that's the case, why, I'd like to see a lot more of that.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
Can you imagine a restaurant or a bar or something here in town that only takes crypto?
It wouldn't probably last very long, but, it would be an interesting experiment.
It depends on what it was and what it did, right?
Yeah. Oh, and also if it had really good food, then all of a sudden they'd want to get crypto so they could get it. If you have something people want, then they're going to figure out how to get it. Let's go to David. He's in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, David.
How you doing?
Hey, you're on the air.
What's up, David?
Yeah. Power sick people. Oh, KENN listening to you, and I guess you got a new one here, KINN. It's Ken's kin, down in Alamogordo, in the heart of Indian country.
Alamogordo, New Mexico.
And
is that's right outside the White Sands Missile Range, right? Alamogordo.
Yep,
I've been up in the Ruidoso Mountains. I actually met Dan Garrett, who is the great
Pat Garrett,
grandfather of Pat Garrett. Yeah, right.
Don't know who that is.
He's also Leif Garrett's father.
Stand by, David. I have no idea where you're going with this. You want to talk about power mad people, homeowners associations, government gangs? These are all people, groups that are filled with power-mongering sickos. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. More if we get the chance. Good news still on the way here tonight. Of course, we'll take your calls first. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you ever feel like you're in jail, a virtual jail, because of your job or maybe your current relationship where you're not allowed to do what you really want to do? I'm Caleb Jones, and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Watch our free on-demand replay training with me so you can learn how to create location-independent income and date women the way you want. Go to alpha.freetalklive.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, toll-free number allows you to join us here on the radio. Our number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And the captain.
And we're going to continue by taking more of your phone calls and thoughts and talking, if we get the chance, about this story that you brought in, Captain, about some good news. Like, why was this decade that's about to end the best one ever? And we'll talk more about that. Plus, we've been discussing alternatives to the U.S. dollar and whether or not it's legal to refuse the dollar, and not just the cash dollar, but to refuse credit card dollars, the electronic forms of dollars, to refuse checks, to refuse U.S. dollars, to refuse all the forms of the U.S. dollar. Say, nope, no thanks. I'll only take other things that are actually valuable.
Which to unseasoned listeners of this program probably sounds a little weird.
It does. It does. And we can get back into that too. But David is on the line, and he wanted to talk about people who are power seekers. David, you're back on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, power-hungry people. And tying into that, so you got in New Mexico, you got KENN, and it's Kin, KINN, and Alamogordo. You talk about the Garrett family. And your audience, your Native American audience listening on Kin, KINN, would be the Mescalero Apaches as compared to the Jicarilla Apaches hearing you on KENN. And now we got some Indian attention. The other night I was talking about, and you didn't have to hear that conversation, know where I'm going with this. The Democrat debate, for instance, there was a disagreement as to whether demographics of the power-hungry people on stage on the Democrat debate stage made a difference, and I argued that it did, and others argued that it didn't. So since we have an Indian audience, let's ask Indians. So in, let's say, 1300, when there were no white men or Spaniards or none to speak of in North America, and so there was effectively 0% non-Indian in America, as compared to today when it's completely reversed. It's about 1.6% or 2% Native American and 98% non-Indian. Mm-hmm. Does the demographic of the power-hungry people make a difference? And I would say the Indians, I would argue for them that they would agree that arguably it does make a difference with the demographic of the people, of the power-hungry people, because look what has been done to the Indians, as we were talking about the Mescalero Apaches. They're Mescalero Apaches because they're on a postage stamp size reservation by Alamogordo and Ruidoso that Captain was talking about, and the Jicarillas are on a two postage stamp size reservation. And so they would probably argue that it does make a difference that it's mostly white people on stage at the Democrat debate, and there are other demographics that were.
Well, I suspect that if there were a Native American Democratic candidate, they also would be a power seeker, and they would be looking to tell people what to do. And if there were a Native American Republican candidate, they would also be a power seeker looking to tell everybody what to do.
That's probably true. But by virtue that there are, let's see, this year's round of Democrat candidates, anyway, I guess you can include the Republicans. For the presidential office, I don't see any Native American candidates up there, and Native Americans being 2% of the population. But there's another demographic that I won't even mention because everybody gets all triggered when I mention it. There's another demographic that's also coincidentally 2% of the population, and they had three up on stage, and they should have had four.
Oh yeah, you called about this earlier. You got some sort of anti-Jew thing that you're obsessing over.
No, I don't. I'm being a realist mathematically. It's a mathematical fact. And whenever somebody brings it up, then you pull out the racist card.
I didn't say you were racist.
Card,
I just don't understand why it matters.
Well, ask the Indians. Indians, does it matter what the percentage of white people were in your nation, on your continent, in 1500? How about in 1600? How about in 1700? Getting progressively worse, isn't it? How about 1800? 1900? Things are getting really bad. And how about today? When your overall population in the United States is 5 million, when the white man showed up, it was 10 million. And today it's half what it was when the white man and the Spaniard and the French showed up. And so something happened based on race that was in power. So it definitely makes a difference what the demographics of the people around you are.
That's the thing. I don't care who it is or what the religion is of the person or the national ethnicity or whatever of the person who wants to tell me what to do. I don't care. Because I know that there are plenty of people who have that same religion or that same ethnicity or whatever who don't want to tell me what to do, who want to live their lives. And if what you're going to try to say, and David, thanks for the call, if what you're going to try to say is that those Jewish people are somehow more inclined to seek political office. I don't know if that's true, just by virtue of that he's claiming there's more of them running for president than in other areas. If it's true that more Indian folks are more likely to not seek political office, great. That means I'd be more likely to be friends with those folks. I don't care, though, what your belief systems are, as long as you don't try to force them on me.
Yeah, everybody should be free to, like we talked about earlier, seek, if they want leadership, seek a leader. Not a ruler, a leader, right? And there's a big difference between a leader and a ruler. Politics is just a weaponized popularity contest. That's all it is. It's a weaponized popularity contest. And just because, most of the people, and by most like 51% or more of the people who participate in this, weaponized popularity contest say that we want this person to rule over everybody else. That is wrong. If I don't want that person as my leader, as my ruler, I should be free not to follow that person or what they say or whatever edicts they decide to write down on paper or have their lackeys write down on paper.
Yeah. So just a quick flashback into elections previous. According to Wikipedia, there was...
Real quick, I also think it's hilarious that there is a guy running for president who his platform, his commercials are, hey, did you know that there's less than, X amount % of women in Congress and Senate, and there's X amount of people of minorities in Congress and Senate? So elect me, an old white guy, and I'll change that. That's hilarious.
Tom somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
So there was a Native American who ran for the Libertarian Party's presidential nomination once. His name was Russell Means, and he passed away several years back.
Yeah, I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, he was in the Last Mohican. He was the old guy, the old Indian.
Oh, no way. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what he's most known for in pop culture, but he's actually he was a very libertarian Native American guy. And he was part of, I believe, the Lakota tribe, if I recall correctly. I believe he was involved in the Lakota. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. But just because you're a Native American doesn't mean you're a libertarian, because the Green Party also had a Native American who ran for vice president, economist, and environmentalist Winona LaDuke. In 2016, was the first Native American woman and Green Party candidate to receive an Electoral College vote for vice president. So... just because you're a Native American doesn't mean you support freedom. Right. Just because you're Jewish doesn't mean you want to control people. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Hey, here's news for you. These are individuals, and individuals are different. More coming up.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
When you're coping with bad news and the news media come calling, and they will, don't clam up. As notorious political figures find out the hard way, the cover-up can be worse than the crime. So get out in front of unfavorable news about your company, your group, or organization, or yourself. The sooner you confront a negative story, the sooner it will be over. Responding as quickly to negative stories as you do to positive ones enhances your credibility. Hiding embarrassing information or lying will do more damage than damage control. Never stonewall. Tell your side of the story, use specifics, and detail what corrective action has already been taken. Respond in kind. If the issue is emotional, don't sound like a cold, unemotional Mr. Spock. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live.
They're the mafia. They function like the mafia. They think like the mafia. They hire people who think like the mafia. The only difference is they put on a front that there's something legitimate and legal and valid about all of it.
Well, there's no Don in this particular mafia. The Don is the majority of people who went out and voted and then put their new Don in place. And sometimes the Dons change and sometimes they don't. Incumbents are very difficult to unseat, and but their henchmen stay in place the whole time. It's quite a sophisticated mob operation.
It is. Well, it's the mafia that is so successful, that has so brilliantly pulled the wool over people's eyes, that they've actually gotten people to give them their children so the mafia can educate them into believing that they need the mafia.
Right. We have free indoctrination camps. Schools for you to send your kids to.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free and bring up whatever you want. Our number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight, it's Ian.
And the captain.
There's big news that came out earlier this week from our friends over at AnyPay. And
what is it, Ian?
Wow. I was really excited to hear about this. I found out about it during our show. They were here on Tuesday night. They come in once a month to co-host with us. And AnyPay, for those that don't know, is the premier, the world's premier, in my opinion, choice to accept cryptocurrencies at your point of sale. So whether it's a physical retail business that you have, or maybe an online business, because they've started getting into that area, but also if you're a service provider, if you're coming to your customers' houses and you want to be able to accept crypto, maybe on your smartphone or something, AnyPay makes it super easy. And that's what we've been talking about for a while. But there's something new that they're doing that is, I think, going to be a game changer for getting cryptocurrency adoption.
Okay.
As far as getting businesses to come on board with this. What we've been missing for so long is an incentive for somebody who's good at sales.
Yeah, what's in it for me?
Well, you know what? That's just the reality of the world, right? Your time's valuable. And if you're a good salesman, your time's really valuable. Because odds are you've got a good gig. You're probably getting paid to sell things somewhere, right? Like if you're a good salesman, you can make more. I think I've heard that salespeople are the highest paid profession on the planet because you get paid for how good you are, right? Like you totally commission only sales. You don't make it, you're done.
They are the lifeblood of business, literally.
Yeah, so you got to have a good sales guy out there. And so that's the one thing that the cryptocurrency world has not had until now. They've not had an incentive to bring somebody out there, to get out there and, hit the streets and go knocking on doors and talking to owners and talking to managers and get out there, because there was no way to reward that person. There was no incentive, no financial incentive.
You're speaking in past tense.
Because now there is. Because AnyPay has introduced the AnyPay Ambassador Program. And that what it's doing is it's going to actually reward you if you bring a business on board to AnyPay. Yeah. And in my opinion, you don't have to do this if you're just a salesman, right? Because I don't think this is going to be a full-time position or anything like you're probably not, at least up front, going to make a bunch of money on this.
Yeah.
But down the road, if cryptocurrency takes off and this program's still around and AnyPay succeeds, then this could be an amazing passive income, ongoing rewards for somebody, because what they're offering is you get a piece of every sale that business does in cryptocurrency as long as this program is around.
That's freaking amazing.
Yeah. That has never existed with any other, company that wants you to set their stuff up or, has some sort of competing software or whatever. There are companies that, like BitPay, for instance, which came before AnyPay, and AnyPay, I think, has blown them out of the water. BitPay never offered an incentive to get businesses signed up. It's never been, even though they charge businesses 1% at BitPay, AnyPay charges businesses 0. There's no charge to accept cryptocurrency through AnyPay. They're actually getting the money to pay out this payout to these salespeople or whoever signs up these businesses. They're getting it from doing their vending operations. So they're selling cryptocurrency in vending machines, taking the profits and rolling them in to
create the incentive program.
The incentive program, which is amazing.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So it's brand new. It just started happening like within the last week or two, and it works with both Bitcoin Cash and Dash purchases. So if they're paying with the old Bitcoin, the old slow grandfather of cryptocurrencies, you don't get the bennies if that happens. But if you're paying with Bitcoin Cash and Dash, you're going to get a piece of the action for any business you sign on. Now, for me, like, I'm not going to do full time on this or anything like that, but I do recruit businesses when I get the chance. I like to go to the ones that I know and the ones that I regularly attend. I don't want to go to a place and sign them up and then never come back. That doesn't seem honest to me. It doesn't seem, to start taking cryptocurrency, you'll get some new business, but I won't shop here. No, so I only want to do it places that I'm willing to go to or do already go to, because then I can be one of those customers that pays with cryptocurrency. But finally, there's an incentive to bring businesses on board with crypto, and I think it's amazing. You can go to anypayinc.com to get signed up. All you have to do this is download the AnyPay Cash Register app for your iOS or Android device and set up your own account. Even if you don't have a retail, whatever, you can do it if you want, Captain Kickass.
I'm going to.
Just set up your own account. That way you've got your addresses to your wallet in the back end. And then if you bring a business on board, you just let anypayinc.com know. And as long as they're a real business, and you're not like a scam artist or something like that, they're going to verify that it's a real life business.
Hey, I signed up Ian's prostitution ring to AnyPay.
If only, but no.
No, I'm just kidding.
But that's, they're going to verify, make sure it's a real business. And if so, as soon as that's verified, all the transactions, you get a piece of it. Every single transaction.
That's sweet.
It's amazing. So check it out, anypayinc.com. I'm super excited about it. I think, this is what a lot of people, I think, have been waiting for. They just haven't had the right incentives to get them out there and do this stuff, and this is what it takes. So let's talk about good news, Captain Kickass. You have a story from Matt Ridley over at The Spectator at spectator.co.uk. It is saying that this is the best decade in human history. They started by pointing out that human poverty is at its lowest point ever, dramatically lower. People have been rising out of poverty across the planet. Places like Asia and Africa are doing especially well. And there was more to the story. Do you have it in front of you? If not, I do have it here.
One moment, please. I know that it was talking about how it is the best decade in all of human history.
Yeah, so we were talking about the more from less here. Like I said, I've got it pulled up if you don't have it there.
Okay, go.
So he's talking about more from less, which, as we discussed, was the idea of efficiency. And this is what markets work towards. There's a book about it, and the MIT scientist who wrote it showed how some nations are beginning to use less stuff. Less metal, water, land, and not just in proportion to productivity, just less stuff overall. This doesn't quite fit with what the Extinction Rebellion lot are telling us. Now, what's Extinction Rebellion? This is the greenies that are out protesting in the streets in various places. But by the next time you hear Sir David Attenborough say, quote, anyone who thinks you can have infinite growth on a planet with finite resources is either a madman or an economist, unquote, ask him this. But what if economic growth means using less stuff and not more? Duh.
Right, and we talked about efficiency with regards to that too, right?
So, for example, a normal drink today contains 13 grams of aluminum, much of it recycled. What? 13 grams? That can't be right. A normal drink?
I believe they're talking about like a can of Coke. They're talking about the aluminum can.
Okay. In 1959, it contained 85 grams. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Wait a minute. I'm not drinking grams of aluminum. Substituting the former for the latter is a contribution to economic growth because it reduces the resources consumed per drink and the cost.
Right.
As for Britain, our consumption of stuff probably peaked around the turn of the century, an achievement that has gone almost entirely unnoticed, but the evidence is there. In 2011, Chris Goodall, an investor in electric vehicles, published research showing the UK was now using not just relatively less stuff every year, but absolutely less. Events have since vindicated this thesis. The quantity of all resources consumed per person in Britain, domestic extraction of biomass, metals, minerals, fossil fuels, plus imports minus exports, fell by a third between 2000 and 2017, from 12.5 tons to 8.5 tons. That's a faster decline than the increase in the number of people. So it means fewer resources consumed overall.
Right, and that speaks again to the efficiency of the market
That's
at
right.
play.
If this doesn't seem to make sense, then think about your own home. Mobile phones have the computing power of room-sized computers of the 1970s.
Yes, they do.
I use mine instead of a camera, radio, torch, compass, map. Torch is another word for flashlight in the UK.
You have to remember this is a British article.
Right. Compass, map, calendar, watch, CD player, newspaper, and pack of cards. LED, and that's called convergence, by the way. That's the term for all these things that used to be separate, all coming together into one device.
I thought that was a singularity.
No, that's coming later.
Oh, okay.
855, 450 free. The singularity is when the device can outthink you.
Oh, okay.
Or at
coming
least
soon.
Some device. 855, 450 free, and then we hope that they won't kill us all. 855, 450 3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. That's right, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling today.
800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. That's 800-932-1789.
Producers have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer. Increased income is possible using strategies suited to your goals and may require buying multiple annuities and holding them full term.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Moments remain. Maybe enough time for you if you jump on the lines right now. Our number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Ian.
The Reverend Captain Kickass is also here.
Captain Kickass, don't you have a website that people could go and visit and listen to some of your parody songs?
I do. I just got a brand new URL a week or so ago. It is lcaptainkickass.com. That's ELCaptainKickass.com.
lcaptainkickass.com. And you got, how many songs are up there right now?
I think 8 or so.
All right. How long have you been doing that?
A long time. Not all of my parody songs are up there. I used to do parodies under a group name of Dose Guys, DOSGUYZ. Was actually 3 of us, but that's what made the name funny. But our singer Brian passed on, and so I didn't feel comfortable using that particular group name without him, because he was kind of the the engine that made it go. So when I just started doing them myself and featuring other artists, I was like, well, I'll just call it the Kick-Ass Parody Project. And so if you go to lcaptainkickass.com, it just redirects you to my Bandcamp page.
Check them out as we go to your calls and thoughts, more about good news and why this decade was the best one ever, according to The Spectator. But David is in Alabama listening to WAVH in Mobile on FM. Hey, David.
Hey, guys. Y'all were asking earlier about what a free market homeowners association would look like. And the neighborhood I bought my house in, I think, has the closest thing you can come to.
Tell me about
it's called a community action group.
What's the difference?
It's completely voluntary. You do not have to be a member of it to live in the neighborhood.
Oh.
The dues are $15 a year. And they pretty much do everything that that a homeowners association would take care of. Like, for example, we have security cameras on light posts all over the neighborhood. They maintain that system, so if there's ever a crime, the police can go to the group and get footage. And we put on a block party every Halloween, trunk or treat block party every Halloween for the kids. And they help maintain the park that's like a block away from my house. So it's completely voluntary. It's $15 a year. You don't and so if they do something you don't like, you don't have to pay the $15 the next year.
There you go.
To do it.
Wow,
dude, that kicks ass. Kick ass seal of approval.
That is amazing.
And that is the reason I bought in that neighborhood, because when I decided to buy a house, I said I was not buying in a neighborhood that had a homeowners association.
So these people actually do things to improve the neighborhood on a voluntary basis, completely voluntarily supported and funded, that makes the whole neighborhood better, even for the people who don't fund them, because that's the old free rider problem, right? It's like, who cares about the free riders? You're still making things better. Just do it. And
exactly.
And they don't come up with stupid rules and cram them down people's throats.
And I'm sorry, what was it?
Exactly. Like for example, I'm fixing to replace my fence in my neighborhood or in my yard, and I don't have to go get permission from anybody in the neighborhood to do it. I can just put
this
up my
warms
fence.
my heart.
What's the acronym again? The CAG? Is that?
Yeah, CAG, Community Action Group.
Community Action Group.
Wow, that's so cool, David. Thanks for sharing that. Anything else you want to throw out there tonight?
No, that's it. You have a good, guys,
Wow,
have a good evening.
great call. That's like the best call of the night. That's like wonderful.
Community Action Group, and that's we were talking off air about like the Tuatha, right? The ancient Irish organization, and that's kind of the same type of a thing. It's an organization that existed. It benefited, all of the community, even those who didn't pay into it. You know what I mean? And they would interact with other, in this case, CAGs can interact with other CAGs if they have sort of a cross-community thing that they want to do, or if they have a problem with some other CAG, they can work together to solve the problems. That's beautiful. Great stuff. I love it.
Call. Thanks for. I'm glad he shared that here with us. So let's continue here with the Spectator on the news about how things are getting so much better. People are using less stuff, and we're having a better quality of life using less. And so, for all the environmental disaster advocates out there, it's just the evidence is, it seems to be contrary to what they're saying. So going on here, he talks about how, now that we have these smartphones, we're combining a camera, radio, torch, compass, map, calendar, watch, CD player, newspaper, pack of cards, all into one. He says LED light bulbs consume about a quarter as much electricity as incandescent bulbs for the same amount of light, not to mention they last longer. Modern buildings generally contain less steel, and more of it is recycled. Offices are not yet paperless, but they use much less paper.
By far.
Even in cases when the use of stuff is not falling, it's rising more slowly than expected. For instance, experts in the 70s forecast how much water the world would consume in the year 2000. In fact, the total usage that year was half what the so-called experts predicted. Not because there are fewer humans, but because human inventiveness allowed more efficient irrigation for agriculture, which is the biggest user of water.
And again, that's a market development, right?
Until recently, most economists assumed these improvements were almost always in vain because of rebound effects. If you cut the cost of something, people would use more of it, make lights less energy hungry, and people will leave them on for longer. This is known as Jevons paradox, after the 19th century economist William Stanley Jevons, who first described it. But Andrew McAfee argues the Jevons paradox doesn't hold up. Suppose you switch from incandescent to LED bulbs in your house and save about 3/4 of your electricity bill for lighting. You might leave more lights on for longer, but surely not 4 times as long. And beyond that, people are still interested in saving money.
Yeah.
Unless you're just flush with a bunch of cash because you're super wealthy, you probably still want to turn the light off, even if the lights cost less.
Early LED adopter, I was like, oh.
So you paid
LED.
more.
I did, yeah. But also, I'm kind of lazy, right? With things like changing light bulbs. I think, wait, so I can buy this one light bulb and not have to change it for 5 years? Far out, man.
Honestly, I've had a few of them fail.
Yeah, me too. But still,
and not because they were on too much.
It still lasts way longer than a traditional bulb did.
But I just mean mechanical failure. There's something went wrong with it.
Yeah,
it didn't last longer than a traditional bulb. But they're new products. They're going to get better. Efficiencies in agriculture mean the world is now approaching peak farmland. Despite the growing number of people and their demand for more and better food, the productivity of agriculture is rising so fast that human needs can be supplied by a shrinking amount of land. And don't forget, there's always vertical farming, which we haven't really gotten into yet. In 2012, Jesse Alsboll of Rockefeller University and his colleagues argued that thanks to modern technology, we use 65% less land to produce a given quantity of food compared with 50 years ago. By 2050, it's estimated that an area the size of India will have been released from the plow and the cow. Meaning that land that had been agricultural can then be produced or used for something else.
Well, that goes along with all the other information that we have about hunger in the world isn't a problem of having enough food. It's a distribution problem. The world produces enough food to feed every human on the planet.
Just look at the Americans. Yeah. My God. Land sparing is the reason that forests are expanding, especially in rich countries. In 2006, the Ausable worked out that no reasonably wealthy country had a falling stock of forest in terms of both tree density and acreage. Large animals are returning in abundance in rich countries. Populations of wolves, deer, beavers, lynx, seals, sea eagles, and bald eagles are all increasing. And now even tiger numbers are slowly climbing.
The world needs more beavers.
Perhaps the most surprising statistic is that Britain is using steadily less energy. John Constable of the Global Warming Policy Forum points out that although UK's economy has almost trebled, I guess that's like trebled?
Yeah, I don't know.
Trebled in size since 1970, and our population is up by 20%. A total primary inland energy consumption has fallen by almost 10%. So you got economy is up, population is up, energy consumption falling.
Yep.
Much of that decline has happened in recent years, and this is not necessarily good news, Constable argues. Although the improving energy efficiency of light bulbs, airplanes, and cars is part of the story, it also means we're importing more embedded energy in products, having driven much of our steel, aluminum, and chemical industries abroad with some of the highest energy prices for industry in the world. In fact, all this energy saving might cause problems. Innovation requires experiments, most of which fail. Experiments require energy, so cheap energy is crucial, as shown by the Industrial Revolution. Thus, energy may be the one resource that a prospering population should be using more of. Fortunately, it's now possible that nuclear fusion will one day deliver energy in minimalist form using very little fuel and land. And we're actually, we're seeing there's some really cool nuclear developments that can do nuclear energy safely without risk of fallout and things like that.
And producing the mass quantities of nuclear waste that you have to bury for thousands of years.
If the government gangs will let it happen. Since its inception, the environmental movement has been obsessed by finite resources, and he talks about some of these books like Limits to Growth and The Blueprint for Survival that lamented the imminent exhaustion of metals, minerals, and fuels. The Limits to Growth predicted that if growth continued, the world would run out of gold, mercury, silver, tin, zinc, copper, and lead well before the year 2000. School textbooks soon echoed these claims. This caused economist Julian Simon to challenge the ecologists to bet that a basket of 5 metals would cost less in 1990 than in 1980. Stone Age did not end for the lack of stone, he said, arguing that we would find substitutes if metals grew scarce. Simon won the bet easily. Although there's more to this story, I wish we could finish it, but we can't, so I will put it on our Twitter over at twitter.freetalklive.com, on our Mastodon at toot.freetalklive.com, and our Telegram at telegram.freetalklive.com. You can check it out for yourself. But things are getting better over time, and I like it.
Me too.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com.
Free Talk Live. I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow,